We know this is the last talk, so we won't keep you guys too long. We're both here representing Aventus. I'm Ethan, part of the product team, and this is Angus, my colleague, one of the blockchain engineers. Today we're going to be talking about our scaling solution, tackling a specific use case for the ticket delivery industry with a decentralized approach. We're happy to go over some questions at the end if there's time. So yeah, first up, let's look at the specific industry context to our offering. The current landscape is murky for the average ticket goer and sports fan. Purchasing primary tickets directly from one of the big suppliers is trusted to a point, but once you're looking to buy a ticket via a secondary market, you're really exposing yourself to a lot of risk. You're opening yourself up to being scammed by various actors. Additionally, once a ticket is sold by a primary seller, it's then completely out of their control and ownership can be transferred to whomever. So there's no way that the primary can keep track and contact the current ticket holder. What if the start time changes, or what if you want to circulate a venue change? Basically, as a fan, you're trusting that a forwarded email that you've just received and paid €100 for is legit. There's no real way of knowing until you approach the venue gates on the day that the ticket you've just paid for is actually legit. So this whole thing is not ideal at the moment. So who are we? We're Aventus. The solution is using blockchain technology to create an open ticketing standard for the benefit of both ticket buyers and ticket sellers. Using the protocol, event owners will be able to issue verifiable tickets to fans and set smart rules embedded in tickets to allow control once initially sold. Ticket buyers will be able to independently verify their ticket without the need for a third party, proving ticket provenance even when browsing a secondary market.
So basically we took these problems and we kind of designed an ideal decentralized Ethereum solution. So basically what you would do is create an event via a smart contract on Ethereum and register who you wanted to do your primary and secondary sales. And then the ticket sales would basically take place. That could be a direct payment to chain, it could be off chain and then submitted by your primary sellers. So then they would all be going through one transaction at a time. The event occurs in real life. You create a door list out of the public keys of everyone who bought a ticket. And then at the door, they basically submit some proof that they bought a ticket. And then you easily recover that proof, get their address, and they're allowed in. And then you would just simply send a transaction to end the event. So we designed this, we knocked up like a proof of concept, and then we took it to like big ticketing companies, and they basically said it was absolutely rubbish. So Ethan's going to talk a bit about that, I think.
Yep, thanks. So as we know, one of the drawbacks of Ethereum is scaling. And that's why we're talking here today about what we've come up with. So although significant improvements have been made across the network, our specific use case still means there's going to be large spikes in traffic, especially at the on-sale period. Ethereum can currently handle 15 transactions per second, meaning that even if we had the entire network to use, we wouldn't be able to properly deliver thousands of tickets for large events in a timely manner. As illustrated here, typical sales occur when the event goes on sale, so we have this enormous spike directly at the outset, and then things tend to level out. Obviously, Ethereum is just trundling along with a steady 15 transactions per second, so it's not completely ideal for this. So we really needed a way to process this huge spike and to be able to deal specifically with transactions related to tickets rather than anything else related to events. So tickets with this are providing this enormous thing that we have to deal with. So we had to find a specific scaling solution for those transactions.
Yeah, so as Ethan just mentioned, we basically had just a massive bottleneck in the system in the initial ticket sale period. So we needed a decentralized solution in order to basically batch a load of tickets and put them all on once. So basically, I guess you've come across Merkle trees is a pretty good solution for that. So basically, we have kind of like a layer 2 proof of stake system. So any validator would come and lock up a certain amount of our token. then they would get access to the layer 2. And then basically they can process transactions coming in for ticket sales, and then validate anything that would have been validated on the smart contract, such that it's coming from someone that has permission to sell a ticket, and they've signed that they've signed the buyer, and it basically that all the signatures check out, which would be done normally on the mainnet. So then it just basically bundles up those into a Merkle tree and then simply reports it to the mainnet. So basically, it's basically as simple as it can be for its use case. So one Merkle leaf is just representing one ticket. So it's literally just what event's it for, who owns the ticket, and then any relevant signatures. So really, what we found was the problem with making this scaling solution is we were trying to create the EVM again at a point, and we realized in order to get something that actually works in the short term, we needed to make it as simple as possible. However, it does still comply with all the industry requirements we had before. Like, anyone can see that they have a ticket for this event, because from these Merkle trees we can build up a state of who is going to what event, and it's still completely open when the Merkle trees are published. And then just to kind of up the decentralization, since we do have like a smaller proof of stake pool, that is more prone to attacks and bad actors and downtime. So we kind of have the backup of the Ethereum mainnet, whereby any check that is done in the validation step is challengeable on the mainnet. So you can say, look, I found a ticket here, it's on this Merkle route, here's the Merkle proof for it, and it wasn't signed by someone that is able to sell tickets for this event. It's kind of a drastic measure because it could potentially like invalidate the whole route. But yeah, it's just kind of like a backup in case we have the problems, for example, if we got 51% attacked or whatever. So how far can we take this? So basically, since our Merkle trees are pretty simple, we just batch them up. We could potentially put 3 billion in one transaction, 3 billion tickets. It's not really viable because the validation would take absolutely forever. And also, I'm not sure 3 billion people all want a ticket at once. So kind of our peak activity will be when something like Glastonbury goes on sale and we need to sell 30,000 tickets in a few minutes. And I think this is actually achievable with this system. We think you can put, from preliminary tests running on an average computer, you could validate and create a Merkle tree for several thousands of tickets in about a minute. So that easily fulfills the industry requirements while keeping it decentralized.
So where are we now? We've built a cloud solution with a single validator running on Rinkeby as a proof of concept for this, encapsulating the entire solution. And we have a public API gateway for the cloud solution to abstract away all of the complexity if a ticketing company were to come along and try and integrate with our systems and didn't want to roll their own, obviously. Another key focus over the last 6 months for us is building a set of SDKs for these external parties, so we can get people up and running with a ticket wallet app and the admin side of things for the event owner to be able to create compatible events and tickets using the protocol. Just trying to simplify things a little bit.
So just for the future, obviously our next step will be to go live on the mainnet and allow anyone to become a validator on the proof of stake chain and start submitting transactions sent by event owners and people like Ticketmaster, hopefully. I was going to gloss over this a bit, but actually we have time, so I'll talk about it. So at the moment, we're exploring ZK snarks, basically because the industry raised some concerns about the onboarding process. So basically, the ideal transaction is that someone pays on-chain for a ticket. And then the less ideal one is that somebody that is an issuer of a ticket signs the public key of the ticket buyer and submits that to the chain. However, what if that buyer doesn't even have a public key yet? What if they bought a ticket off ticketmaster.co.uk like a week ago, and then they suddenly decide they want to put this event on the blockchain? So basically, the industry said, well, what if we can give them some sort of secret? and then they can reveal that at the door rather than having their public key, which they don't have at the point of purchasing a ticket. And it's not very decentralized. So basically what we can do is we can use zero-knowledge proofs to prove that you know that secret, and then sign the hashed secret as the primary. So therefore you can see, even though you don't know what's going to get you into the door, that you will be able to get into the door. So it solves the problem of that. And then the last one is obviously to get real people using it.
Yeah, so that's us for today. If you want to keep up to date with the project, just check out any of our socials here, type in Eventus and you'll find us. Yeah, and if you want to come grab us for any questions, anything we can elaborate on, we're happy to. Yeah, thanks for sticking around. Cheers.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions? Cool. Well, I think that's the end of the day here, so I guess go and enjoy your evening. I think there's still talks going on elsewhere, but thank you for coming.